Okay, the way that I break down videos may be a little bit different than anyone else, the way that I look at mechanics, but you know, it's the way that I do it. I've had a lot of success doing it in terms of adding velocity, in terms of adding command, and in terms of increasing efficiency, which I'm measuring through the arm care system. So again, your mileage may vary. This is just the way that I do it. But the first thing I do is I like to look at timing. So I look at timing from when that foot comes off the ground. So we're looking at the lead foot right there. And again, just so we're all 100% clear, what I'm looking at, the lead foot is obviously that lift leg. So what we do is as soon as that's coming off the ground, I want my guys moving as fast and staying under control as possible. And what we're seeing is a 0.883 in terms of how fast that athlete's getting into foot strike. So that's from lift to full foot contact. I don't like to go from when the heel's hitting the ground. I like to see from when the whole foot is flat and stabilized onto the ground. And then that's what I look at first is that timing aspect. After that, when I was saying I want the athlete to move fast and under control, what I look at next is what is the head doing? We want the head to stay over the belly button because even right here, it's staying in that same position between the balls of his feet during the range of motion that we call the stride. So right there, we can even see as he's getting into foot strike, that head is staying over the belly button right between the balls of the feet. So overall, very good there. The next thing it is that I'm going to look at is just running through what the delivery is doing is that lead leg stable. So he's nice right there, and we see that that lead leg stays right where it needs to be. It stabilizes. His actually straightens out a little bit. Not everyone's is going to do that, but if we look at those differences here, if we have that angle here versus the angle there's a little bit of extension, nothing wild. And again, the big thing I want to see is that leg stays stable. That's the big thing. Not everyone's going to lock the lead leg out. And even this athlete here doesn't lock his lead leg out fully. But it's important to note that he also throws 95 plus miles an hour. So it doesn't need to be locking out. And everyone, I think, misinterprets what that lead leg block is, right? Next thing I'm going to look at is how we get into that foot strike. So what I want to see is that back foot pressing down and forward at the same time. What I don't want to see is that heel peel off the ground. I want to see us creating pressure through the ground as we go. We can see he does a very good job. That heel comes off the ground late and it's able to stay connected through the ground. It comes off a little bit, but it does come back down. I know there's a lot of guys. And again, you know what? Your mileage may vary. There's some guy out there, I forget his name, but he wants this to be off the ground. But I actually have some pretty cool other videos. If you guys want, I can go over them of what Cy Young winners do. And almost 100% of the Cy Young winners keep that back foot connected on the ground through the whole delivery. So again, this is my mileage. Yours may vary. That's fine. We can disagree. I ain't going to lose sleep over it. After that, what I want to look at is once we know how the back leg and the lead leg is working in terms of both those, and that we're at least creating that good aggressive timing in a foot strike. The next thing is I want to see the shoulders rotate forward, or the hip. My bad. The hips rotate forward while the shoulders stay back. This is called hip and shoulder separation, delaying shoulder rotation, whatever word you want to use. I don't really care, just as long as the athlete's doing it. So one thing I have changed my viewpoint on is before I wanted as much separation as possible, but as I've started really digging into some of the data and seeing other guys, some of my hard throwers were low separation guys, some of them were big separation guys. So for me, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to lose sleep just as long as they're doing this. And if it improves over time, awesome. But it's not going to be something that I sell out for. So this athlete here, we see the hips are rotating forward, the shoulders are rotating back. And again, we're going to mention that same aspect, the head is over the belly button between the balls of the feet. We're in a good spot. After that, what I look at is something called equal and opposite. Kind of tough to see from this angle here, but what I want to see is that whatever the angle of the throwing arm is, we want that glove arm to be the same. Usually you're going to need a top-down view or an open side view coming from this side here. With this one here being not quite at that 45-degree angle, it's a little bit more not quite 90, which would be over here, not quite 45, somewhere in between. We're not going to get the best view of it, but we can get the general idea that it looks like it's pretty stable. And then the next thing that I'm looking at is I want to make sure that that throwing arm and the glove arm match up, because it's just like if you're walking on a tightrope, which is a pitcher you basically are. If one side is too short or too long compared to what this is doing, we're going to spin off or pull off to that side. So we want to make sure that the throwing arm and the glove arm are as close to mirror images as we can. After that, I want to make sure that we have at least 1, 2 frames, which we do, of that shoulder staying back before we really get engaged into throwing, where the hips are rotating. So what we see if we go back a few clicks, right, is we go here into that foot strike, and then what we see is 1 click where we're getting a little more rotation out of the hips, the shoulders are staying back, and then we get our second, boom, 1 more where we have that full rotation of the hips now, and then the shoulders really start to peel through, and that's called kinematic sequence, which is what we want to see. After that, I'm paying attention to specifically this glove side. There's still a lot of teach out there that they want to pull that glove through. Again, I don't fully understand that, but we want the glove to stay stable. The chest will move towards the glove, which we see he actually gets that chest directed to the target. Again, head is staying in line over the belly button between the balls of the feet. So overall, good job. The glove is finishing over the lead leg, the lead leg, landing leg, foot, and then what we're seeing is that ball is able to be released out in front. And again, we had talked on the drag leg staying down. His drag leg stays down through ball release. Again, you're going to be hard pressed to prove to me that we are stronger on 1 leg than we are on 2. I want to see those feet connected. I want to see the spine and the head over the belly button, and we want to see consistency with what's going on. So if we're putting into the stick figure mode, that's what he would look like there. Um, but again, that's the main things it is that I'm looking at. You can look at a million other things as the way you want to. No one's going to hold that against you. Agree with me, disagree with me, whatever works. I'm not going to lose sleep over it again. This is the way that I've evaluated guys and had a ton of success in working with athletes. And again, I think it's important to note this athlete here was 88 when we first started out, and now he's been up to 95. So awesome for him. Good job. And the one thing is that we worked on when we first started was we got his timing a little bit better. We got his sequencing a little bit better. We didn't really focus on delaying or creating more hip and shoulder separation. We just worked on delaying that shoulder a tick longer. We also did a little bit of work with that glove side, as well as we did a little bit of work on getting the torso a little bit more directed. So these are all things that we've done. We have drills to put that in place. So depending on where it is that you're at in your delivery, as well as your strength base, we have everything that we can do to work on, that timing into foot strike. We have things we can do to help stabilize that lead leg. We have things we can do to help, work that back foot drive towards the target. So we were actually working on it, pressing it down and forward. We have things to help kinematic sequence, hip and shoulder separation, delaying that rotation. We have things to do to help fix the glove. We have things to help keep the chest moving forward. And then even then, we have things to keep that head over belly button throughout that whole range of motion for what I just call balance and posture, being athletic through the delivery. We have drills to help every single aspect of this. So that's something you're interested in. Let us know, email us, call us, visit us on the website. We'll find a way to help you out. Send us your video and we can help start breaking that down.